went to grammar school there and high school. Graduated from Lincoln High School. And then I went to the Sacramento JC for 2 years. And then I just met Jose Iturbi.
But you started teaching at...
I started teaching when I was 11.
And when did you start concertizing?
Oh, I was about 15.
And your radio shows? And
Radio shows, yeah, and concert halls, sort of thing.
So from tell us a little about your years with Jose.
Do I have to?
No, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, I just thought it was kind of a neat story.
Well, it was kind of fun because he was on tour so much. And he would call me from Seattle and say, I'm going to be in Portland, and why don't you grab a plane and get up here and we can have a lesson. And our kids complain when they have to walk up the hill. Huh? And that's all. I studied with him for a number of years. And then you wanted to know about John Steinbeck? I met John Steinbeck in Monterey. If anybody read The Grapes of Wrath, there's this subject in that book called Doc. And Doc was a real character. And it was Doc's apartment where John Steinbeck used to come every day and could stop in and have coffee, and Mother used to make cookies for him. He loved her what kind of, they were plain...
Refrigerator cookies.
Yeah.
Icebox cookies.
Icebox cookies, yeah. And he used to come in there and dunk his cookies and coffee, and it was lots of fun. Had good visits together.
Wow.
We went to a concert at the Sunset Auditorium down there one night. It was a Bach concert. And I had lost track of Doc. I knew he was walking down the hill with a bunch of other people. And I suddenly looked up and he had on the baggiest pants with holes in both sides. He didn't care what he looked like. It was wonderful.
I think you met Clark Gable too once on the set. What about the sets with Jose? What was that like?
What about the set?
The sets in Hollywood, the movie set.
Oh, well, I only went. He made a movie with Katherine Grayson, and he was her accompanist in the movie. And they were trying to get a perfect shot of Katherine Grayson. But Jose was in the way, so he had to get down on the floor and played reaching up.
But it was there on those sets that you met some of the Hollywood stars.
Yeah. Met Carol Lombard and Clark Gable.
We want to hear about.
I was more interested in Clark Gable, of course, than Carol Lombard. Yeah. He was such a nice person.
Was he?
And she was so spoiled, I don't know how I put up with her.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Neither one of them are around anymore to defend themselves.
That's what I was going to say. Well, that's good. And let's see. One of the first things I remember you telling me about when I was old enough to understand anything were John's notes that he'd send from camp. Do you remember the notes he would send from camp?
Please send cookies. Please
send guns.
Please come down and get me. Yeah, and send a gun.
Yes.
The counselors really loved those letters.
Yes.
Of course, they read everything, but so
right.
John didn't get any of those things except cookies. He got Mother's cookies.
And another story which I only thought about because I was asked to go think about some things to ask you. The story of John's first guitar, which I vaguely remember in the old living room, which is your room now, was that John wanted an electric guitar and Dad said no. Am I right on this? Do you know the story?
You're right. Dad said he was to play classical guitar. He wanted him to be a classical guitarist. He had all of the technique and all of everything to go accordingly. So one day I saw an ad in the paper. There was a guitar, I think it was $15 or something.
Wow.
It was way up on the mountain on the other side there. Not on the mountain, but on the way up there. One of those streets, I don't remember. And so John went up there before Gino got home. And Gino was my husband, John's father. And he hurried up there and got it down here quickly, and then had to figure out how to break it to Dad. Because he had told him to do something.
And
he
an
had
amplifier?
told something he didn't do. What?
And an amplifier?
No amplifier.
Okay.
And then we got the amplifier. Later on, Gino couldn't get enough for John. He was,
I know.
because he could see that he was very interested and really serious. So.
Which is part of the story. Dad started trying to buck the